Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you how to use the rating jQuery plugin to create a control on the client side using HTML JavaScript and get the rating behavior within your web applications. So what I have in front of me is a new project in Visual Studio 2010, and I'm going to come down here in my project and add a new HTML form and call it igRating. Once we have that, we need JavaScript and CSS references so that our rating plugin can initialize and instantiate on the client, and we can set some properties on it. So I'm going to come down to my scripts folder. Because everything is dependent upon jQuery, I need the jQuery core, and I also need the jQuery UI. Once I have these two, I can bring in the Infragistics JavaScript file, which contains a definition of all the controls, so that I don't have to re-reference them for other controls. So I can just bring in igui.min.js. It's a minified and combined version of all the JavaScript compiled into one single file. So these are the only three references needed for the JavaScript files. Now I'm going to come down in my content folder and bring in the CSS for these controls. So there are two references needed here. One is the igui.min.css. Now if you're doing a per control development, you can go and use the one that you're using. So in this case I can just use the rating CSS, but just for simplicity's sake, and I may be using other controls on this page, I'm just going to bring in the minified version of the CSS so that I don't have to worry about per control CSS. And then the next thing I need is the custom CSS, which is the jQuery UI. So with these five references, this is all I need as far as the JavaScript and CSS reference are concerned for the jQuery plugin. I'm going to come down my body, and I'm going to create a placeholder, a div placeholder for my rating controls. I'm going to use two placeholder because I'm going to be initializing two different rating controls onto my page. So I have rating 1, and I can come down here, set up an ID of rating 2. Once I have these placeholder, I can come back up in my head section and start scripting my JavaScript that's going to load when the form is initialized, and I'm going to use the jQuery onReady function, which is going to be fired as soon as the page loads up. And in this event, I am going to grab the rating control, the first one, and I'm just going to wrap that into an igRating plugin. And by doing so, it will take the element, the DOM element, div element, and convert that into an Infragistics rating control. Now after I'm done with this, all I need to do is set some options on it depending on how I want my rating to behave. So I'm going to start off setting up a vote count of 5 so that it shows a 5-star rating. Then I want this to be a vertical rating component, so I can set a property or an option vertical to true. A default is horizontal. And let me set a value, which is the default value of how many stars are selected, to be 3. And also set that the values are to be not used as %. So I'm going to set that to false, so that it's going to use the value as whole numbers. So this is my first rating control. It's all set up, and we just copy and paste and use it for the other one and change some options on it. So the ID here for the other rating is rating 2. Let the vote count to be 10, the default value to be, let's say, 7 for example, and we don't want it to be vertical, we just want it to be used as a horizontal rating control. And just by doing that, it will our page will instantiate two rating controls, one with a vote count of 5, a default value of 3, and a vertical one, and the other one a horizontal rating control which has a vote count of 10 and a default selected value of 7. So let me right click and view that in the browser. So here you can see that just by doing that, writing that JavaScript and HTML placeholders, we have now converted those two div elements on our page to be a rating control, and it's fully styled, and the user can come here and select a different value and rate the control or rate a component onto the page. So in this video, you just saw how easy it is to take an HTML element and wrap that using the jQuery Infragistics jQuery plugin to be a rating control. Thanks for watching.
Infragistics. On the web at infragistics.com.